السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. الحمد لله رب العالمين، والصلاة والسلام على نبينا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه ومن تبعهم بإحسان إلى يوم الدين وسلم تسليما كثيرا. أما بعد, we praise Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We ask Allah to exalt the mention, grant peace upon the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. الحديث السابع عشر عن أبي يعلى شداد بن أوس رضي الله تعالى عنه عن رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم قال: إن الله كتب الإحسان على كل شيء، فإذا قتلتم فأحسنوا القتلة، وإذا ذبحتم فأحسنوا الذبحة، وليحد أحدكم شفرته وليرح ذبيحته. رواه الإمام Muslim. So on the authority of Abu Ya'la, Shaddad ibn Aws, may Allah be pleased with him, the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, Allah has prescribed excellence in all things. So if you kill, then do so in an excellent manner. And if you slaughter, then also do so in an excellent manner. And let one of you sharpen his blade, and let one of you comfort or relieve or spare the suffering to the animal that he's slaughtering. All right. Now, in the Sharh, the Shaykh says, إن الله كتب الإحسان على كل شيء أي في كل شيء ولم يقل إلى كل شيء. So Allah had decreed or legislated or prescribed excellence in all things, and He did not say to all things, rather He said in all things. يعني أن الإحسان ليس خاصا بشيء معين من الحياة بل هو في جميع الحياة. Meaning acquiring or trying to achieve excellence excuse me, is not restricted to a particular thing regarding life, rather it is regarding all aspects of life. ثم ضرب أمثلة فقال. Then he proceeded to strike similitudes and give examples. And so he said, فإذا قتلتم فأحسنوا القتلة وإذا ذبحتم فأحسنوا الذبحة. والفرق بينهما, what is the difference between if you kill, then do so in an excellent manner, and if you slaughter, then slaughter in an excellent manner? The difference between them أن المقتول لا يحل بالقتل كما لو أراد إنسان أن يقتل كلبا مؤذيا فنقول أحسن القتلة. Meaning that the one that is being killed does not become lawful to be killed, such as if a person were to kill a harmful dog. So we say to him, do so in an excellent manner. وكذا إذا أراد أن يقتل ثعبانا فنقول أحسن القتلة. Similarly, if he wanted to kill a snake, then we will say to him, do so in an excellent manner. So this is regarding killing. Now, as for slaughtering, وإذا ذبح فنقول أحسن الذبحة. Regarding slaughtering, we say, be excellent in your slaughter. وهذا فيما يؤكل. This is pertaining to things that are edible, things that you may eat. أي يحسن الذبحة بكل ما يكون فيه الإحسان. So he should acquire or aspire or seek excellence, there you go, in all of that which excellence can be achieved in. ولهذا قال, and that's why the Prophet ﷺ said, وَلْيُحِدَّ أَحَدُكُمْ شَفْرَتَهُ أي السكين. Let him sharpen his knife. وحدها يعني حكها حتى تكون قوية القطع. And what is intended by sharpening, meaning you sharpen it until it becomes strong in chopping, until it's able to chop. أي يحكها بالمبرد أو بالحجر أو بغيرهما حتى تكون حادة يحصل بها الذبح بسرعة. So he basically uses whatever tools that the people have that they use to sharpen their knives and swords and blades and what have you. Any means such as, striking it against a rock or a stone or a particular type of machinery used to sharpen knives and what have you. وَلْيُرِحْ ذَبِيحَتَهُ اللام للأمر. So this is the lamb of command. So basically he's being commanded to spare the suffering of his slaughtered animal. أي وليرح ذبيحته عند الذبح بحيث يمر السكين بقوة وسرعة. Let him relieve his slaughtered animal during slaughtering by quickly and with force running the knife over the subject so that it doesn't take longer and is more painful than necessary. Tamam? All right. Now, من فوائد هذا الحديث. There's not much to explain in the hadith, but it will be a very lengthy discussion, which I doubt we can finish today, inshallah, on the matter of the benefits, the fawaid of the hadith. واحد رأفة الله عز وجل بالعباد. The compassion and the mercy of Allah عز وجل, the exalted and mighty, to the slaves. وأنه كتب الإحسان على كل شيء, that he had decreed and prescribed excellence in all things. ويدخل في ذلك الإحسان إلى شخص تدله الطريق. Included in ihsan is you giving direction to someone. You giving direction to someone. وكذا إطعام الطعام. Similarly, feeding people with food. والأمر بالمعروف والنهي عن المنكر, and enjoining what is good and forbidding what is evil. وما ذكره النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم من القتل والذبح مجرد أمثلة. What the Prophet ﷺ mentioned regarding killing and slaughtering are mere examples. They are mere examples. So ihsan actually is beyond and above all of that. Everything that you do, Allah wants you to do it in the best and the most excellent way possible. That you could be as good as you could be. You could try to reach your, achieve your potential. Like tap into your potential and bring it out of its shell and expose it to the environment and then let it flourish and prosper, so that this potential that you have hidden is no longer hidden. Rather, it is acted upon and it's materialized and it's beneficial for you and for the Muslims. Hey, that was the first benefit. The second benefit, الثاني, الحث على الإحسان في كل شيء, the encouragement to achieve excellence in everything. لأن الله تعالى كتب ذلك أي شرعه شرعا مؤكدا, because Allah had prescribed this, i.e. He legislated it in a manner that is conclusive. Third, أنك إذا قتلت شيئا يباح قتله فأحسن القتلة. If you kill something that is lawful for you to kill, then do so excellently. وَلْنَضْرِبْ لِهَذَا مَثَلًا, and let us strike an example. Let us give an example. رجل آذاه كلب من الكلاب وأراد أن يقتله. A man who was harmed and attacked by a dog from among the dogs and he wanted to kill him. فله طرق في قتله. He has many ways in which he could kill this dog. If this dog is harming the people and biting people going up and down the street, people that walk around with these pit bulls in America, a dude with a pit bull, next thing you know, he's chopping someone's arm off or leg off or killing another dog and chewing him like chewing gum and just wreaking havoc in the street. Nobody can stop these dogs, man. Once their jaws lock on someone, ya rajul, I've seen videos of people striking him with a cane, beating him with boxes, kicking him in his belly. Man, the dog does not let go. he does not let go. So there's some mechanism. I cannot. There's actually a very effective way to get that dog off the other dog, but I'm not comfortable in sharing it with you. Some say one of them is to block his nostrils from being able to breathe, because then his jaw's locked, he won't be able to breathe, he will let go. And there's another way that is much more effective, but it's gross. Al-Muhim. So he has many ways of killing him. كأن يقتله بالرصاص, he may kill him with a bullet. أو برد الرأس, or he could strike his head. أو بإسقائه السم, or by giving him poison. Here you go, buddy. Hey, you want some meat? Here. And then the dog dies. أو بالصعق بالكهرباء, or he can even electrocute him. أنواع كثيرة من القتل, many different ways of killing. فيقتله بالأسهل, he should use the easiest method. وأسهلها كما قيل, and the easiest, as per what people say, الصعق بالكهرباء, is to electrocute the doggy. لأن الصعق بالكهرباء لا يحس المقتول بأي ألم, because when you struck with electricity, the deceased does not feel any pain. ولكن تخرج روحه بسرعة من غير أن يشعر, فيكون هذا أسهل شيء, فيكون هذا أسهل شيء. Rather, his soul departs his body quickly without even feeling, and that would be the easiest thing. Now, I'm not sure about that, man. Obviously, that could be what the people around Shaykh bin Uthaymeen rahimahullah said to him. Allahu a'lam if that is actually the easiest way to kill a dog. Would it be to electrocute him or to shoot him with a bullet straight in his head? Which one will be quicker and easier? Allahu a'lam. يستثنى من ذلك الرصاص. There you go. An exemption from that, or an exception, is the bullet. ففي القصاص عفوا الرصاص. An exception is the retribution. ففي القصاص يفعل بالجاني كما فعل بالمقتول. In retribution, you do to the guilty one, the jani. What do you call the jani? The suspect. Not even the suspect. There's a better term. You do to him what he did to the deceased one. ودليل ذلك قصة اليهودي الذي رد رأس الجارية فأمر النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم أن يرد رأسه بين حجرين. And the evidence for that is the story of the Jewish man who had struck the head of a slave girl, and Prophet ﷺ commanded that he also struck similarly with 2 stones, so that he dies in the same way in which he killed her. Now wait, there's a footnote here. Hey, the Shaykh bin Uthaymeen mentioned previously that electrocuting does not count as killing with fire. Just in case someone's saying it's not allowed to kill with fire, why would you electrocute someone? They're not one and the same. Barakallahu fikum. رابعا أن الله عز وجل له الأمر وإليه الحكم. Fourthly, that Allah Azza wa Jal, to him is the command is his, and to him is the ruling. لقوله إن الله كتب الإحسان, because of the statement of the Prophet alayhi wasallam, verily Allah had prescribed excellence. وكتابة الله تعالى نوعان, كتابة قدرية وكتابة شرعية. And those of you who have attended Al-Aqeedah Al-Waasitiyaah should have no problem coping and understanding and comprehending the words and the terminologies that we are covering today, brothers and sisters. Allah's prescription of something, or what Allah writes, is of 2 types: that the decreal writing and the legislative writing. Al-Kitab al-Qadariyya la budda an taqa. That which Allah decreed, it's inevitable it will come to pass. وَالْكِتَابَةُ الشَّرْعِيَّةُ قَدْ تَقَعْ مِنْ بَنِي آدَمَ وَقَدْ لَا تَقَعْ. As for what Allah had prescribed as a legislation, it may take place, it may occur by one of the children of Adam, and it may not. مثال الأول, an example of the former or the first, قول الله تعالى وَلَقَدْ كَتَبْنَا فِي الزَّبُورِ مِنْ بَعْدِ الذِّكْرِ أَنَّ الْأَرْضَ يَرِثُهَا عِبَادِيَ الصَّالِحُونَ فَهَذِهِ كِتَابَةٌ قَدَرِيَّةٌ. Allah says in the Quran, and we have verily prescribed or written or decreed in the Zabur after the remembrance that the earth will be inherited by my righteous slaves. This is now a decreal type of prescription. ومثال الثاني, an example of the second, قول الله تعالى كتب عليكم القتال وهو كره لكم. Fighting has been prescribed for you while it is something that you dislike. أي كتب كتابة شرعية. So this is the what type of what you call it, legislative. This is the prescription which is legislative. وقوله وهو كره لكم يجب أن تعلم أن الضمير في قوله وهو يعود على القتال وليس يعود على الكتابة. And know that the ضمير, the pronoun huwa, is referring to the fighting and not referring to what has been prescribed. لأن الصحابة رضي الله عنهم لا يمكن أن يكرهوا فريضة الله ولكن يكره القتل ويقاتلون فيقتلون. Because the Sahaba, may Allah be pleased with them, will never hate the farida, that which Allah Azza wa Jal has made obligatory. Rather, they will hate the act of fighting, wherein they would have to fight and might be killed. They would have to fight and might be killed. تمام؟ وفرق بين أن يكره الإنسان حكم الله أو أن يكره المحكوم به. And there's a difference between a person hating the legislation of Allah and or hating what has been legislated. تمام? Or hate upon whom the legislation falls, basically. ومن الكتابة الشرعية قوله تعالى يا أيها الذين آمنوا كتب عليكم الصيام أي كتب شرعا. And another example of the legislative prescription is the statement of Allah, oh, you have believed, fasting has been prescribed for you, meaning legislatively. Fifthly, أن الإحسان شامل في كل شيء. Ihsan is encompassing everything. كل شيء يمكن فيه الإحسان لقوله إن الله كتب الإحسان على كل شيء. Everything that you can exercise excellence in, then you ought to do so because Allah had prescribed excellence in everything. That means when you make promises to people, when you have time commitments and those commitments are time bound, there's a meeting point, a meeting duration. All of these are among the things that a Muslim is supposed to uphold and seek excellence in. And I've made this comment many times in the past, and I will use this opportunity to make it again. This whole idea of you coming 30 minutes late to anything and claim that this is your people's perception of time, no matter what your nationality is, because it seems to be a global thing. Everybody who comes late tells you that in our country, when we say 2 o'clock, we mean 2:45. When we say 2 o'clock, we mean 2:30. Filipino time, Lebanese time, Mexican time, Chinese time. All this is kalam fadi. You're a Muslim before you're Filipino or Lebanese or Chinese or Battiqa. Your job is to, if you say to someone, I'm going to be there at 2 o'clock, you're going to be there at 2 o'clock. You will be there at 2 o'clock, inshallah, unless you have a valid reason not to be there at 2 o'clock. This is part of ihsan. People that constantly come late to every single appointment are failing miserably in this regard. And the same can be said even about playing sports. When you play sports, you're supposed to try to achieve ihsan. Play as good as you can. Play seriously. Play with respect. Play without cheating. Play without lying. Play without bickering and fighting. All of these, if we collectively come together to do it this way, it's required. When you work out, when you eat, everything requires ihsan. Everything requires ihsan. And you will see that a lot of Muslims fail in achieving ihsan in maybe 90% of their daily behaviors. 90% of our daily dealings don't have any ihsan in them. They're barely passing the passing grade. Wallah al-musta'an. But this is against the command of Allah Azza wa Jal, who told us to try to be as professional as we can be in everything. May Allah make it easy for us. Number 6, حسن تعليم النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم بضرب الأمثال. Excuse me, the excellence of the teaching method of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam by striking similitudes. لأن الأمثلة تقرب المعاني, because striking examples bring the meaning or the definitions or the principle that you're trying to achieve, it brings it closer. في قوله إذا قتلتم إذا ذبحتم, so if you kill, if you slaughter, so on and so forth. And we've mentioned this many times before, that it's from the way of the Quran, it's from the way of the Prophet ﷺ to strike similitudes and to give examples to the people so they could better understand their religion. Number 7, وجوب إحسان القتلة لأن هذا وصف للهيئة لا للفعل. The obligation of seeking excellence in killing, because this is a description of the method and not the action itself. وإحسان القتلة على القول الراجح هو اتباع الشرع فيها سواء كانت أصعب أو أسهل. Pay attention because this is very technical. What is intended by achieving excellence in killing, according to the preponderant, stronger opinion, is following the legislation in it, whichever direction the legislation takes you, be it more difficult or easier. وعلى هذا التقدير لا يرد علينا مسألة رجم الزاني الثيب. And if we understand that it's no longer an issue when we speak about the ruling of stoning the adulterer, the virgin adulterer, right? Because someone will say, well, you said that you should kill in an excellent manner, and killing someone by throwing stones at them is not exactly the easiest way to kill them. So, what's up? We say, no, because what is intended by excellence in killing is referring back to the deen. What the deen considers to be, whether the deen makes it difficult or easy, that's the standard excuse me, by which you assess. Number 8, أن نحسن الذبح, to achieve or seek excellence in slaughtering. بأن نذبحها على الوجه المشروع, to slaughter it in a way that is legislated. والذبح لا بد فيه من شروط. Now we're going to get into the deep stuff. And slaughtering requires a number of conditions that have to be met. Number 1, أو ألف, أهلية الذابح بأن يكون مسلما أو كتابيا. The qualification or the validity of the status of the slaughterer, that he is either a Muslim or a person of the people of the book. Kitabiyan is from Ahl al-Kitab. Yani he is from Ahl al-Kitab, i.e. Yahudiyan or Nasraniyan, Jew or Christian. The Hindus are not Ahlul Kitab, the Buddhists are not Ahlul Kitab, and everybody else on planet Earth is not Ahlul Kitab. Ahlul Kitab is strictly Jews and Christians. فإن كان وثنيا لم تحل ذبيحته. فإن كان وثنيا لم تحل ذبيحته. نعم, it should be the فاعل بالضمة. If he is an idolater, there you go. If he's an idolater, then his dhabiha is not lawful. وَإِنْ كَانَ مُرْتَدًّا لَمْ تَحِلُّ ذَبِيحَتُهُ. And if he's an apostate, his slaughter is also not lawful. وعلى هذا فتارك الصلاة لا تحل ذبيحته لأنه ليس مسلما ولا كتابيا. Allah. Accordingly, and according to Shaykh ibn Uthaymeen, the abandoner of the salah, his slaughter is unlawful because he's neither Muslim nor of the people of the book. And similarly, we could say about the vast majority of the Shia on planet Earth today, who are worse than the Jews and the Christians in their kufr and their rejection of Islam and their insults to Aisha and the Khulafa al-Rashideen, and their allegations against the Prophet ﷺ and against Jibreel, and their allegations against the preservation of the Quran, and we can go on forever. But we have today people that are trying to tell you that if the Sunnis and the Shia join forces, then we will be able to defeat the Zionists. And you have to be as silly and as ignorant as you can be to think that this is ever achievable with someone who, as soon as they finish, they say, "Ya Ali, Yeah, Hussein. They call on Ali and Hussein, man. Even the Christians sometimes call on Allah Azza wa Jal himself, the Father. And there you got these wild Rafida calling on Fatima al-Zahra and Ali and Hussein. Wallah al-Musta'an wa alayhi tuklan. Hey, Daniel Haqiqachu and his clan, man. Well, no wonder he's an ex-Shi'i. He still feels the connection. It's a strong connection you can't let go of. I understand. Shahid. So if you abandon Salah, then you're in trouble, according to the Shaykh rahimahullah, because the person is an apostate. فإذا قال قائل, if a person were to say, ما هو الدليل على أن ذبيحته على أن ذبيحة الكتابي حلال? What is the evidence that the slaughtered animal of the person of the book, a person from the people of the book, is lawful? فالجواب قول الله عز وجل في سورة المائدة الآية الخامسة وطعام الذين أوتوا الكتاب حل لكم وطعامكم حل لهم. And the food of the people that have been given the book is lawful for you, and your food is lawful for them. قال ابن عباس رضي الله عنهما Ibn Abbas, may Allah be pleased with him, and his father Al-Abbas, طعامهم ما ذبحوه. What is intended by their food is that which they slaughtered. والكتابي هو اليهودي أو النصراني. And the kitabi is either a Jew or Christian, as I mentioned earlier. But second part of the answer, أن تكون الآلة مما يباح الذبح بها. The tool used for slaughtering should be that which is lawful to be used in the first place. وهي كل ما أنهر الدم من حديد أو فضة أو ذهب أو حصى أو قصب أو أي شيء. And that would include anything that will make the blood flow, anything which will make the blood gush, whether it is metal, silver, gold, stone, pebbles, stick, anything which does the job. لقول النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم, because of the statement of the Prophet صلى الله عليه وسلم, ما أنهر الدم وذكر اسم الله عليه فكل. Whatever causes the blood to gush and has the name of Allah mentioned upon it, therefore eat. ومعنى أنهر الدم أي أساله. What is intended by أنهر الدم, made the blood gush, meaning it أساله, meaning it made it run. It made it run. فلو أن إنسانا ذبح بحجر له حد وأنهر الدم. So if a person used a rock that was sharp on the edge and it caused the blood to flow, فالذبيحة حلال, then the slaughtered animal is lawful. إلا أنه يستثنى شيئان. Alhamdulillah. We have two exceptions. السن, the tooth. والظفر, the nail. علل النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم هذا بقوله. The Prophet ﷺ justified why those two are not allowed by saying أما السن فعظم. As for the sin, the tooth, it's a type of bone, and you're not supposed to use bones. وأما الظفر, as for the nail, فمدي الحبشة. فمدي الحبشة أي سكاكين الحبشة. They are the knives that are used by the Abyssinians. Right, let's break it down. Let us break it down. أما السن فعظم. As for the statement of Prophet ﷺ, the tooth is a bone. Excuse me. أخذ من هذا بعض أهل العلم. Some of the people of knowledge have deduced from that أن جميع العظام لا تحل الزكاة بها. Any type of bone is not permissible. It is not permissible for that to be used as means of slaughtering. قالوا لأن العلة أعم من المعين وهو المعلول. Because they said because the reason behind it is more general than the specific. لأنه لو أراد النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم أن يقتصر على السن لقال أما السن فسن. Because if the Prophet ﷺ wanted only to restrict the tooth, he would have said, as for the tooth, then it is the tooth. لكن قال, however, he said, أما السن, as for the tooth, فعظم, it is bone, فالعلة أعم. So the reason why the tooth is not allowed is because it's bone, so the bone is more general and encompassing. وعلى هذا فجميع العظام لا تحل التذكية بها. Accordingly, all bones may not be used as means of slaughtering. So if someone were to get a bone and sharpen it until it becomes sharp and use it as means of slaughtering, we say this dabiha ya Shaykh is haram and it's not halal because you are using bone, and using bones is not permissible according to the that particular opinion. The Shaykh said, وَالْحِكْمَةُ وَاضِحَةٌ. The wisdom behind that is apparent and clear. لأن العظم إذا كان من ميتة فلا يصح أن يذكى به. First of all, the bone, if you've gotten it from a dead thing, it's not correct to use it as means of يعني slaughtering. لأن التذكية تطهير والميتة نجسة. Because slaughtering is means of purifying, and a dead animal is impure. وإن كان العظم من طاهر كعظم شاة مذكاة فلا تحل التذكية بها. And if the bone is from something that is actually lawful, such as you got it out of a sheep that was slaughtered correctly, it is still not permissible to use it as means of slaughtering. لأن عظم المذكات طعام الجن. Because the bones of any lawfully slaughtered animal, pay attention, the bone of any lawfully slaughtered animal is the food for the jinn. وَالتَّذْكِيَةُ بِهِ يُفْسِدُ عَلَى الْجِنِّ. And using it as means of slaughtering it corrupts it for the jinn. لأنه سوف يتلوث بالدم النجس. Because it will be contaminated with impure blood. وقد ثبت عن النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم أنه قال للجن الذين وفدوا عليه. It has been established that the Prophet صلى الله عليه وسلم said regarding the jinn that had come to him as a delegation, لكم كل عظم ذكر اسم الله عليه. Lawful to you is every bone which the name of Allah has been mentioned upon. تجدونه أوفر ما يكون لحما. And you find it, whatever you could find of it, with covered with meat. قد يقول قائل أنا أمر بالعظام تلوح ليس عليها لحم. فما الجواب? A person says, I go by bones and I don't see any meat on it. So what is the answer for that? الجواب سهل. The answer is easy. أولا نقول أتؤمن بالله ورسوله. Do you believe in Allah and His Messenger? فسيقول نعم. He says نعم. He will say yes. فنقول هكذا قال النبي عليه الصلاة والسلام. This is what the Prophet ﷺ said. وعليك أن تؤمن بذلك. And it's upon you to believe in that. سواء رأيت أم لم ترى. Whether you see it or whether you don't see it, you just accept it. So even if there's no you see that the bone is being eaten but there's no meat on it, that doesn't concern you, because that is just for the jinn. ثانيا, secondly, عالم الجن عالم غيبي. The world of the jinn is a world of the unseen. ولهذا أخبر النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم عن الرجل الذي لم يصلي صبح أنه بال الشيطان في أذنه. Subhanallah. This is why the Prophet ﷺ said regarding the man who does not pray Fajr, the shaitan has urinated in his ear. The shaitan has urinated in his ear. So you get some funny people say, oh yeah, brother, when I wake up, I don't see any urine coming out of my ear, even though I didn't sleep for Fajr. You say, ya ta'ban, ya majnoon ant, ya majnoon. This is from the unseen. These are from the matters of the unseen. You better believe that when you sleep for Fajr, a shaitan was literally sitting there and urinating in your ear. Ya toilet anta. And guess what? He doesn't flush. There is no flushing system in your head, ya ta'ban. There is no flushing system in your ear. The shaitan urinates and goes away, and you become a public toilet. Every single day, your head is a toilet. Shayateen are going by left and right and urinating in your ear, and you think you're a champ. Every day you wake up in the morning, yeah, I'm going to work. What a clean guy. You take a shower, and you think that the shower is cleaning you. The urine is all up in your ear, boy, because you don't wake up for Fajr. Y'all got to stop that, man. This I'm sleeping for Fajr business has to stop. It is unacceptable for a believer in Allah and the last day to miss on Salatul Fajr. Once every 6 months is a disaster. Once every 6 months is a disaster. Let alone those who 3 days out of the week, 4 days out of the week, or at least once weekly, they sleep and miss out on Salatul Fajr. like it's all good in the hood. Like it's I, brother. It's good. I'm good. No problem. No problem يا toilet head. فرحان. شيطان قاعد يبول في أذنك. يا الوسخ. We need to stop, man. Y'all need to stop. إذن يستثنى مما ينهر الدم كل عظم. So an exception from that which makes the blood gush and flow is every type of bone. أما الظفر, as for the nail, فقد علل النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم ذلك بأنه مدى الحبشة. The Prophet ﷺ said this is the knives for the Abyssinians, أي سكاكينها, meaning their knives. ونحن منهيون أن نتشبه بالأعاجم, and we are prohibited from resembling the foreigners. والحبشة أعاجم حيث دخلت عليهم العربية بعد الفتوحات الإسلامية, and the Abyssinians are foreigners, Arabic, and the Arab only entered upon them. The Arabic only entered upon them after the Islamic conquests. Before that, they were considered to be foreigners and outsiders. So you're not supposed to resemble them. فإن قال قائل لو وجدنا سكاكين لا يستعملها إلا الحبشة فهل تحل التذكية بها? If we found knives that no one uses except the Abyssinians, is it permissible? Then he said نعم. فإذا قال قائل كيف تقولون العبرة بعموم العلة في قوله أما السن فعظم ولا تقولون بعموم العلة هنا? Why are you, if one were to say, why did you say you go by the general reason in the statement, as for the tooth, it is a bone, but you did not follow the same generality in the second part of the hadith about the whatchamacallit, the dhufr, the nail, being the tools of the Abyssinians. فالجواب أن أظفار الحبشة متصلة بالبدن. The answer is the nails of the Abyssinians is connected to their bodies. وجعلها مدى يستلزم أن لا تقص ولا تقلم. Subhanallah. And using it as a knife necessitates that you neither cut it nor trim it. وهذا خلاف الفطرة. People, anyone out there who can hear me, for the sake of Allah, and this is against the natural disposition. Keeping your nails long, brothers and sisters, for the millionth time, it is ugly. It is ugly. Growing your nails is ugly. Inshallah, you put all the nail polish in the world and all the monkeys and all the red lipsticks and all the fushar, and you, whatever you do to your nails, if your nails are long, it is nasty. The difference between you and the scavenge animals is that you're a human. This idea that you grow on your nails is a type of, elegance and chicness and beauty. Wallah, it's not. Wallahi, it is ugly. And anything that goes against the fitrah that Allah Azza wa Jalla has given the human beings is ugly. Growing a beard under your armpit is ugly. Keeping your pubic hair is ugly. Anything that you do that contradicts the fitrah is ugly. Cut them nails, man. Cut them nails. Keep your nails nice and short and clean and beautiful. Don't give me this nonsense about madri ايش ومدري مين ومامي وبابي وتيتي ولاتي وميتي وماتي. أي كلام بك بس يا عم بس. The Shaykh said وهذا خلاف الفطرة. This is in opposition to the natural disposition. Ooh, that rhymes. This is in opposition to the natural disposition. Please accept this position. لأن الإنسان إذا عرف أن أظافره ستكون مدى سيبقيها, because if a person knows that basically when you grow your nails, you are basically being compared to humans who use their nails to slaughter animals for Allah's sake. And I know in our culture, men, they grow the pinky. Like, I'm not going to tell you who in my family, but dudes will have this gigantic pinky nail, as opposed to the other nails being, short. And then when you ask why, there's no shame in telling you this is used for scratching, for digging, for cleaning, whether it is you want to clean your ear as opposed to using a cotton swab. You want to, get some booger that is all the way up your nostrils as opposed to blowing it out. maybe you have something stuck between your teeth. And sometimes they use these things back to back. You know, it goes from the ear to the nose to the mouth. على طول, يعني it's the same nail doing all the work for all the people. Huh? For all the body parts. I'm not going to go beyond the head. Obviously, we could go beyond the head to different body parts where this nail, this long pinky nail can come in handy, but that's just gross. That's like next level disgusting. Those people generally don't clean it. It's not like they sit there and spend time to clean. Khalas, it's a filthy nail and they keep it like that for this purpose. And then lastly, you have people that eat their nails. People eat their nails like it's one of their daily meals. They eat it, chop it off with their teeth and mouth, and some swallow it, some spit it out. All this is not from the fitrah that Islam expects of you, ladies and gentlemen. Sorry, gentlemen and ladies. نعم. لأنه ربما يحتاجها فتبين الفرق. So yeah, وهذا تحذير, سبحان الله, listen to this. وهذا تحذير من النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم عن مشابهة الأعاجم وعن اتخاذ الأظافر. And this is a warning from the Prophet صلى الله عليه وسلم about resembling foreigners and about keeping nails. It's a warning against keeping nails. جيم إنهار الدم أي إسالته. So letting the blood gush out. ويكون إنهار الدم بقطع الوجدين. Should be الوجدين. Why is it written الوجدين? Is الوجدين is there missing dal? على كل حال. Now the the gushing out of the blood is done by cutting the jugular veins. These are the two jugular veins. وهما العرقان الغليظان المحيطان بالحلقوم. And they are the two thick veins that are around the windpipe. الحلقوم is the windpipe. وهذان العرقان متصلان بالقلب. And those two veins are connected to the heart. فإذا قطع, if they're both cut off, انهال الدم بكثرة وغزارة. Then the blood will gush out abundantly and excessively. ثم ماتت الذبيحة بسرعة. Accordingly, the animal will die quickly. والدليل على إنهار الدم قول النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم. The evidence for the need for the blood to gush out is the statement of the Prophet عليه الصلاة والسلام. ما أنهر الدم وذكر اسم الله عليه فكل. Whatever causes the blood to gush out and the name of Allah has been mentioned upon it, then you can eat from that. فاشترط إنهار الدم. So Prophet ﷺ made a condition, the gushing out of blood. هل يشترط مع قطع الوجين قطع الحلقوم الحلقوم والمريء? Is it conditional with the cutting of the the jugular veins? Also, the cutting of the windpipe and al-mari, the esophagus, لأن الذي في الرقبة أربعة أشياء, because what's in the neck are four things: the two jugular veins, al-wujdan, wal-hulqum, and the windpipe, wal-mari, and that is the esophagus. فهل يشترط قطع الأربع? Is it a condition that you cut off all four? فالجواب, the answer is قطع الأربعة لا شك أنه أولى وأطهر وأذكى. Cutting all four is inevitably, no doubt, is better and purer and purer. لكن لو اقتصر على قطع الوجهين فالصحيح أن الذبيحة حلال. But if he restricts himself to barely cutting the two jugular veins, then that will render the slaughtered animal lawful. ولو اقتصر على قطع المريء, and if he only restricts himself to cutting the esophagus, والحلقوم, and the windpipe, فالصحيح أنه حرام. The correct opinion, that is haram. It doesn't render the slaughtered animal to be lawful. لأن النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم نهى عن شريطة الشيطان وهي التي تذبح ولا تفرى أو أوداجها. And Prophet ﷺ forbade the killing of the shaitan, like the killing of the shaitan, which is the one that is slaughtered, but the jugular veins are not cut off at all. وهل يشترط أن يكون قطع الحلقوم من نصف الرقبة أو من أسفلها أو من أعلاها? And what about cutting what about the windpipe when you basically cut it? Does it have to be from the middle of the neck or from the bottom of the neck or from the upper part of the neck? فالجواب لا يشترط. The answer is there's no condition, doesn't matter. المهم أن يكون ذلك في الرقبة. What matters is that it's done at the neck level, not above or below. Where in the neck, it doesn't matter. سواء من أعلاها مما يلي الرأس, whether it is the highest, the one that is right after the head, أو من أسفلها مما يلي النحر, أو من أوسطها, or the bottom which is right above the jugular, or the middle. Fourthly, ذكر اسم الله عند الذبح, the mention of Allah, the mention of the name of Allah during slaughtering, at the time of slaughtering. لقول النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم ما أنهر الدم وذكر اسم الله عليه فكل. Whatever causes the blood to gush out and the name of Allah is mentioned upon it, then eat of that. فإذا كان إنهار الدم شرطا فكذلك التسمية شرط. So if letting the blood gush out is a condition, then similarly the mention of the name of Allah is a condition as well. بل إن الله تعالى أكد هذا بقوله, rather Allah confirmed that by saying ولا تأكلوا مما لم يذكر اسم الله عليه وإنه لفسق. And so do not eat of that which Allah's name has not been mentioned upon, and verily it is corrupt. فإذا ذبح إنسان ذبيحة ولم يسمي فالذبيحة حرام. If a person were to slaughter an animal, he did not mention the name of Allah, then that ذبيحة is unlawful. فإذا نسي أن يسمي فإنه حرام. If he forgot to mention the name of Allah, it's also haram. لأن الشرط لا يسقط بالنسيان بدليل أن الرجل لو صلى محدثا ناسيا فصلاته غير صحيحة. Because the condition is not excused by forgetfulness, via the evidence that if a man were to pray in a state of no purity, if he had violated his wudu, then his salah is not correct. ولأن الله تعالى قال, because Allah said ولا تأكلوا مما لم يذكر اسم الله عليه, and do not eat from that which Allah's name is not mentioned upon. وأطلق بالنسبة للذابح, and Allah left it general in terms of the slaughterer. فإذا قال قائل, if a person were to say فهمنا أن التسمية شرط, we understand that the mention of the name of Allah is a condition. وأنه لو تركها سهوا أو نسيانا أو عمدا فالذبيح حرام, and if you were to leave it out of negligence or forgetfulness or on purpose, then the ذبيحة is haram. لكن ماذا تقولون في قول الله تعالى? What do you say regarding the statement of Allah? ربنا لا تؤاخذنا إن نسينا وأخطأنا. Oh Allah, do not hold us accountable if we forget or we make a mistake. فقد قال الله قد فعلت, and Allah had replied to that by saying I have accepted. فنقول نحن لا نؤاخذ هذا الذي ذبح الذبيحة ونسي أن يسمي. So we're not saying that he's sinful, the one who had slaughtered the animal and forgot to mention the name of Allah. ونقول ليس عليه إثم, we say there is no sin against him. لكن بقي الآكل إذا جاء يريد أن يأكل من هذا هذه وسأل أذكر اسم الله عليه أم لا. But we now are left with the eater. If he wanted to eat and he asked, was the name of Allah mentioned upon this or not? فيقال له لم يذكر اسم الله عليه. We say to him, Allah's name was not mentioned at the time of slaughtering. إذن لا يأكل, then he shouldn't eat. لكن لو فرض أن هذا أكل من هذه ذبيحة ناسيا أو جاهلا فلا شيء عليه. But hypothetically, if he were to eat from it, forgetting that the name of Allah was not mentioned, or out of ignorance, then there's no sin against him. فإن قال قائل, if a person were to say إذا قلتم إن هذا البعير الذي يسوي 1000 ريال بأنه حرام لما نسي أن يسمى عليه فإنه يلزم منه أن تفسدوا أموال الناس. If a person say this camel which costs 1,000 riyals, if you say that it's haram now and we may not consume it because the person happened to forget mentioning the name of Allah, then you're ruining the money, you're ruining the people's wealth. فالجواب نحن لم نضع المال. The answer is we did not waste the wealth. لأن كل شيء يترك, it should be متروك أو يترك بأمر الله. It shouldn't be this is a typo. This is 100% a typo. Should be كل شيء يترك بأمر الله, anything أو متروك بأمر, anything which is left or is left for the command of Allah, فتركه ليس إضاعة, then leaving it is not a form of waste. بل هو طاعة لله عز وجل, rather it is a form of obedience to Allah. ألسنا نطيع الله ونعطي الزكاة وهي ربع عشر أموالنا. Do we not obey Allah and pay the zakah, even though it is point how do you say it, 0.25 of our wealth? 0.25, yeah. فلو كان عند الرجل 40 مليونا فزكاته مليون. If a person had 40 million, then his zakah will be a million. فما دمنا تركنا هذه الذبيحة التي لم يسمى الله عليها فأننا لم نضع المال في الواقع. If we then leave the animal in which Allah's name was not mentioned upon, then we actually have not wasted it. بل وضعناها في حله ومحله. Rather, we have placed it in its right and lawful place. ثانيا, secondly, إذا حرمناه من الذبيحة هذه المرة لا يمكن أن ينسى بعد ذلك أبدا. بل يمكن أن يسمي 10 مرات. If we tell him that it's haram now because you forgot the name of Allah, he will never forget the name of Allah again. Rather, he will say the tasbih 10 times. Bismillah. Bismillah, Allahu Akbar. Bismillah. He will never forget because he will be worried about wasting his money. ولهذا اعترض بعض الناس على قطع يد السارق. Some people objected to cutting the hand of the thief. وقال إننا لو قطعنا يد السارق لكان نصف الشعب أقطع. If we were to chop off the hand of the thief, then half of the people would have their hands chopped off. فنقول أنت الآن أقررت بأن نصف شعبك سراق. You have just acknowledged and admitted that half of your people are thieves. ونقول له, and we say to him, لو قطعت سارقا واحدا لانتهى آلاف السراق. We say, actually, had you really chopped off the hand of one of them, then you would have actually stopped thousands of becoming thieves. فهذا الرجل الذي نسي التسمية, the person who forgot to remember Allah when slaughtering. وقلنا له الذبيحة حرام. We said to him, this slaughtered animal is unlawful. لن ينسى في المستقبل. He would not forget in the future. ولدينا آية محكمة, and we have an entirely clear ayah. قال الله تعالى ولا تأكلوا مما لم يذكر اسم الله عليه, and do not eat from that which Allah's name is not mentioned upon. يستثنى من قولنا, an exception to our rule, أن يقطع الوجين وهما في الرقبة ما ليس مقدورا عليه من الحيوان, that you chop the jugular veins and they are in the neck for that which we cannot access in a certain animal. فالذي ليس مقدور عليه يحل بطعنة. For the one who you have no access to, it is permissible with just a stab. في أي موضع كان من بدنه, in any place in his body. لو ند لنا بعير أي هرب, meaning if an animal, if a camel were to run away, وعجزنا عن إدراكه, and we were unable to catch this camel, ورميناه بالرصاص, and then we shot him with a gun, وأصابت الرصاصة بطنه وخرقت قلبه ومات, and this bullet struck his belly and it penetrated his heart and killed him, فإنه يكون حلالا لأنه غير مقدور عليه. It is permissible because you had absolutely no other choice. You had no access. You could not have slaughtered him. So that is an exception to the rule. وكذلك لو سقط في بئر. Similarly, if an animal were to fall into a well, ولم نتمكن من النزول إليه, we were unable to go down to access him, لنحره, we were not able to go down to slaughter him, ورميناه وأصابت الرصاصة, and we shot him and the bullet hit him, في أي مكان من بدنه, أي مكان من بدنه فمات فهو حلال. It struck any part of his body and he died, then it is also permissible. Number 9, how much do we have left? We're almost done. Yalla. Number 9, ومن فوائد الحديث, from the benefits of the hadith, وجوب حد الشفرة, the obligation of sharpening the blade, لأن ذلك أسهل الذبيحة, that's easier for slaughtering. ومعنى إحدادها, the meaning of sharpening it, أن يمسحها بشيء يجعلها حادة, to wipe it with something that makes it sharp. فإن ذبح بشفرة كآلة أي ليست جيدة, دقيقة ولكن قطع ما يجب قطع فالذبيحة حلال لكنه آثم حيث لم يحد الشفرة. If he were to use a blade that he could have sharpened, but he didn't, but it also did the job of the dhabiha, then the dhabiha is halal, but he is sinful for not having sharpened the blade, meaning he unnecessarily tortured the animal. وهل يحد الشفرة أمام الذبيحة? Do you sharpen the knife in front of the animal? الجواب لا يحد الشفرة أمامها. You don't let the animal know that it's about to be slaughtered. So those Muslims who bring all these goats and sheep together on the day of Eid and let the sheep observe and witness the killing of their siblings, and then they start freaking out and panicking, then this is ruthless, and this is against the teachings of Islam, where you're supposed to show some compassion to these animals. So it's always going to be a surprise. Hey, you want to go for a walk? Hey, let's go, little sheep. Bismillah, Allahu Akbar. Just like that. As opposed to, agonizing it with the observation of the death of all his family members. He sees his mom, his dad, his uncle, his aunt, everybody's just screaming and dying in front of it, and he wanted, to enjoy its turn. لا يا كابتن، لا يحد الشفر أمامها، لأن النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم أمر أن تحد الشفار وأن توارى عن البهائم. Prophet ﷺ commanded that you should sharpen the blades, but you should do so away from the animals. أي تغطى, you should hide it, don't let them see what's cracking. ولأنه إذا حدها أمامها فيها تعرف, because if you sharpen the blade in front of it, it knows. ولهذا أحيانا إذا حد الشفر أمام الذبيحة هربت خوفا من الذبح وعجزوا عنها. That's why sometimes it runs away. And I love watching the compilation videos of our brothers in Pakistan, Zindabad, where they're always chasing some sort of goat, not a goat, a cow or a bull that winds up just beating everybody and breaking, pillars and destroying cars and running, and everybody running after it for Allah knows how long, because they've applied the sunnah of how to kill an animal effectively and efficiently in Islam. Not only there, obviously in other places in the world, but their compilations are the funniest. Number 10, وجوب إراحة الذبيحة وذلك بسرعة الذبح لأنه أريح لها. The obligation of showing relieving your slaughtered animal by doing so quickly, because that's easier for it. تمام. ويبقى النظر هل تجعل قوائمها الأربع مطلقة أو نمسك بها. Do you let it stand on its four legs, or do you grab them? والجواب, the answer, نجعلها مطلقة, we leave it. ونجعل الرجل على صفحة العنق لئلا تقوم, and we make the leg near the neck area so that it doesn't get up when you're slaughtering it. وتبقى الأرجل والأيدي مطلقة, and the legs and the hands remain upright. فهذا أريح للذبيحة من وجه. This is lighter upon the slaughtered animal in some way. وأشد إفراغا للدم من وجه الآخر. It also helps the blood easily come out in another way. لأنه مع الحركة والاضطراب يخرج الدم, because with the movement and the panic that happens, then blood gushes out quickly. وما يفعله بعض الناس الآن من كونهم إذا أضجعوا الشاة وأرادوا ذبح بركوا عليها وأمسكوا بيديها ورجليها فهذا تعذيب لها. As for what some people do when they want to slaughter the sheep today, they basically kneel on it and then they grab its hands and legs. Then this is a form of torturing it. وبعضهم يأخذ بيدها اليسرى ويلويها من وراء العنق. And some of them grab its left hand and it bends it behind its neck. وهذا أشد. This is even more severe in torturing it. فنقول ضع رجلك على صفحة العنق. Put your knee on the plate of the neck. واذبح, and slaughter. ودعها تتحرك وتضطرب, and let it move and freak out. مع بقاء رجلك على صفحة العنق حتى تموت. With the presence of your leg on the neck until it dies. فإن قال قائل هل من إراحتها ما يفعله بعض الناس بأن يكسر عنقها قبل أن تموت من أجل سرعة الموت? Is it part of relieving it and being kind to it, what some people do by breaking its neck before it dies so that it dies faster? فالجواب لا يجوز هذا. The answer is this is not permissible. لأن في كسر عنقها إلاما شديدا لها, because by breaking its neck is afflicting major pain upon it. ونحن لسنا في حاجة إلى هذا الإلام. We don't need to afflict this kind of pain. بل ننتظر حتى يخرج الدم, وإذا خرج الدم انتهى كل شيء. We wait until the blood comes out. When the blood comes out, everything ends. وإذا 11th benefit, إذا أراد الإنسان أن يؤدب أهله أو ولده فليؤدب بإحسان. May Allah forgive me. I am guilty as charged. If one of you wants to rectify his family or his children, then let him do so with excellence. أبو مصعب, الله يهديك يا أبو مصعب. ولهذا قال النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم في حجة الوداع, that's why the Prophet ﷺ said in his farewell pilgrimage, ولكم عليهن أن لا يوطئن فرشكم أحدا تكرهونه. And upon you, and a right of you, meaning all men, is that you women do not let anyone come into your place that you dislike. فإن فعلن ذلك فاضربوهن ضربا غير مبرح. And if they do so, then you may beat them in a way that is not extreme, that is not severe. And you don't go swing at your wife, knock her out. فنقول حتى في التأديب, even in تأديب, إذا أدبت فأحسن التأديب ولا تؤدب بعنف. If you want to teach manners and rectify, do so with excellence and do not use violence. وبعض الناس يؤدب بعنف. Some of the people use violence. يظن أن ذلك أنفع. He thinks this is more beneficial. وليس هكذا. It is not the case. بل أضرب ضربا لا تسرف فيه. Rather hit in a way where you don't go to extremes in it. Yeah, I guess I'm not that bad. ولهذا قال العلماء في كتاب الجنايات. That's what some of the scholars said in the chapters of جنايات, transgressions. لو أنه ضرب ولده ضربا أسرف فيه ومات ضمنه. If he were to kill his, if he were to beat his son so severely that he winds up dying, then he has to basically pay the compensation. أما إذا أدبه تأديبا عاديا بدون عنف ثم مات فلا ضمان عليه. As if he were to just try to, if he strikes him in a way that is not violent and then the child dies, then he doesn't have any guarantee towards him. Yani he's not held accountable afterwards. With this, inshallah, we conclude completely in one session hadith number 17. MashaAllah, tabarakallah. Inshallah, next week we'll deal with hadith number 18. And let's see what y'all got going on over here. Can we criticize the ruler who facilitate kuffar against Muslims? What happened to the question? Yes, here's full screen, yeah, Shaykh. Can we talk about Gaza where Genomi is taking place? Genomi? What is going on? Why are you guys putting 6 questions in a row? So what? Okay, so he's who's Madkhalis, ya Zubair? Who are the Madkhalis, Habibi? Go through my entire channel. You will never find me saying anything technically from Shaykh Rabi' al-Madkhali, hafidhahullah. How can I be a Madkhali when I don't even teach or communicate the books of the Shaykh after whom this name was invented? And before he came, technically we were Madkhalis according to you. Before Shaykh Rabi' al-Madkhali came into the picture, people have been against the Khawarij and the Takfiris. So what were we called then? What? Jamis. And before Jamis, Wahhabis. And before Wahhabis, Muslims, Sunnis. What do you want? So what are your questions? Can you criticize what? It's okay, let's entertain this individual. Can you criticize a ruler who facilitates kuffar against Muslims? Type. What are you going to gain from criticism? Now, what I would really like to know is, what do you gain from criticism? If you criticize him, is it going to change anything? No. No. If anything, it will make things worse. Oh, he's banned? No problem. Second of all, no, you may not criticize him, because the Prophet ﷺ forbade you from criticizing rulers. So please refer to our previous talks on the subject matter. Can we talk about Gaza where genomi or genocide is taking place rather than learning about non-issues? Non-issues. Everything we learned today, everything we learned today is non-issue. You knowing when an animal is halal for you to be slaughtered and when it's haram, it's a non-issue. You can eat haram all you want as long as you talk about Gaza. This is the feeble-mindedness of these emotional females, these emotional women that carry the names of men. These women that carry the names of men. You have nothing to do with Muhammad and you have nothing to do with Az-Zubair. Wallahi, you are as far. You should be called, you should be called Jennifer, something else. You're not a man. You are not a man. If you're going to be crying all day, look, people in Gaza are dying. So let's not learn about Islam, cancel the 40 Nawawi, and cancel the tafsir, and cancel the Aqeedah, and cancel everything. No. All we gotta do is talk about what's the genocide. All day cry. Because if you talk about it all day, like somehow the genocide is gonna stop. Karen, even better. Yeah, you're a Karen. Yeah, please, man. You have nothing to do with men. Listen, champ. Yeah, man. Go to Gaza, Habibi. Go. Don't talk all this smack, brave one. Yeah, I know. So this is one of the Daniel Hakikatu dogs. Go to Palestine and liberate the Aqsa. Yalla ya Maulana Shaykh. Ya hero anta, ya brave warrior of the Muslims. Allahu Akbar. Go to Gaza, Habibi, and liberate them with your strength and your power and your wisdom and your understanding. Yalla, go. When you come back, give us a call, inshallah. We would like to make a cheesecake for you. روح يا كابتن الله يهديك. يلا next. Should we leave any gap between performing 2 umrahs? Does it matter if I'm shaving or not? I mean, it's not from the way of the Sahaba to do umrahs back to back. Some of the scholars say, however, if you eventually had to go, if you don't have access to do umrah frequently and you happen to be in the haram and you wanted to do back to back, you may. And whether you shorten your hair or you shave, you can do them back to back. Even if you've shaved, you could have the barber run the blade over your head. Even if one hair comes out, it does the job. There's a sister who heard from a student of knowledge about the prohibition of women taking photos, but she didn't hear from any student of knowledge. They are a scholar about its permissibility, but she's aware of the dispute. But she decided to follow the opinion without hearing it from anyone, and the reason is because she thought about it. Yes? Where's number 3 out of 3? There's no 3 out of 3? All right, forget it. Anyways, good. Let her continue with the position of not taking pictures. That is the correct opinion. Women should not take pictures of themselves. Or if they do it for like family and for the family, that's fine. But not pictures that she can post online. Now, next. Number 1, what is the number 1 strongest arguments for Islam in your opinion? Also, how to prove Quran is true without using Quran, to avoid circular reasoning, how to give da'wah to Islam for parents. You need to go back to my lectures, membrane, who's sympathizing with the deviant people. The Prophet ﷺ called the Kharijis a dog. And if you have a problem with the choice of the Prophet ﷺ of words, then you could tell that when you meet him. You could tell the Prophet ﷺ when you meet him that you have the problem with him calling Al-Khawarij Kilabun Nar. And anyone who comes with this rhetoric of calling us what they call us and calling people to criticize rulers and to revolt and to focus only on Palestine as though the Muslims in Syria are worthless, the Muslims in China are worthless, the Muslims in every part of the world where they're being killed over the years, all the Sunnis that were killed on the hands of the Shia in Iraq and in Syria, all these are and in Yemen, all these are worthless. The Houthis who attack Al-Kaaba, all this is fine. All this is fine. They just want you to talk about Palestine as though Palestine is the only issue of Muslims. We don't have any other issues. Yeah, when a person with this Khariji approach comes, then he is rightfully called a dog, as per the statement of the Prophet ﷺ. You don't like it, Habibi, you can join him also and unsubscribe from the channel and don't listen to me. I'm not here to make any one of you happy, just so we can be clear. I'm not here to bend backwards or forward or upside down to make anybody happy. I say what I believe is the truth. If you like it and you like my truthfulness, hayyakallah. You don't like it, please, by all means, unsubscribe from the channel. Don't attend the classes. Don't listen to my opinions and warn people against me. By all means, I give you the green light to go write a video and refutation against me. Don't come and sweat me over here, though. I'm not here to entertain children. Either you're going to be conform or you're going to get off my case. Tired of these wild people, man. Ish hada. Is the meat halal if the butcher says Bismillah but doesn't pray Salah ever? Not even Jum'ah, not even fast Ramadan? We answered that question in the class. The Shaykh clearly told you that it is not halal. Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. I have a large loan from my parents, no riba, but I want to go to Hajj. Is that allowed, or do I have to pay my father back before I go? In the Hajj cost, well, it doesn't matter how much it costs. You ask your father. Wait. I'm sorry. If your father allows you to go, go. If not, then not. Ask your father. Membrane. You cannot love me and Daniel Haqiqatu at the same time. Akhi, the deen is a joke for you. How could you possibly love two contrasts? How could you love two people that are on the opposite side of the spectrum? How could you love someone who calls to the way of Salafiyya and then someone who calls to the way of the Takfiri Kharijiyya? A Shia 12er Imamite sympathizer, a caller of the people of Sunnah agents and other things and bootlickers. You don't understand Islam. After all these years attending these classes, you have not understood our da'wah. You cannot have both. You're going to have to choose either me or him, because you're choosing either the truth or falsehood. Do you want to keep listening to him? Please don't come to these classes anymore. I don't want you to love me, brother. There's no benefit in this love. I don't understand, akhi. I don't even understand how that can even work. Yani, if you find anyone else, maybe we could, yani, for example, you may say, I like Abu Mussab bin Asim al-Hakim. I like Abu Mussab bin, I don't know. We will let it slide. Abu Mussab and Danielle, are you kidding me, bro? We've made 7, 8 videos against this wild creature. Ya Shaykh, روح ya Shaykh, Allah يصلحك. No, he's not, man. He's stripping. Next. Wa alaikum salam. Do you know how other du'at you collaborate with earn money? Do the brothers have full-time jobs? It depends, brother. Some of the other du'at work for a da'wah organization. Some of them are the imams of a masjid. Some of them are the imams of the masjid. So the masjid basically sponsors them, gives them an accommodation, gives them a salary. Some of them, they author books and they make money of them. Some of them work as translator, they make money of that. And some of them, like me, have a regular job. I have a full-time job. And I earn my living from my own full-time job and from my own investments, alhamdulillah rabbil alameen. And the da'wah that I do is something I do on the side. So yeah, there's every type of da'i out there, brother. Barakallah feek. I'm sick, yeah. I'm sick and I'm still trying to recover, alhamdulillah. Would you classify Western nations like UK, US as people of the book, therefore making their meat halal? Also, how can we prove the halal slaughterhouse of Sunni praying butchers? It's a tough situation. There's 2 opinions on the issue. Some of them say that you have to inquire about everything, and some of them say that you don't have to inquire about any. Naam. So you could find a detailed fatwa, ya Ma'moon, on Islam QA. This is a situation or a matter where Islam QA is actually very reliable. Islam QA is very reliable in matters like this. So please refer to Islam QA on the issue of those countries, what they're considered, and do you have to inquire about the slaughterhouse, what means are using, and so on and so forth. Now, plus, akhi, in the UK, you guys had halal meat everywhere I was going, ya Shaykh. What are you talking about, ya Ma'moon? As long as you have halal meat shop and a halal restaurant, why would you eat a non-halal one in the first place? As long as you have the option, why would you even deal with the headache? The problem is in other countries where they don't have anything halal. The only thing is it's a country of the people who look like Italy or something, That could be a challenge. For you guys in the UK, you have more halal stores than non-halal. Right? Walaikum salam. How to respond to aggressive Free Palestine mob who's saying you're drinking Palestinian blood if you drink Coca-Cola or coffee or Starbucks. Be dignified and stay silent or something else. Wallahi, akhi, these people need to be put in their place, man. And, I've made a video. What was it called? Starbucks Cappuccino. You can't win with these people, man. These people are emotional wrecks. They're emotional wrecks who have very limited capacity of understanding the full picture of Islam. So how to respond to them is by being diplomatic. And as an advice for you, boycott Coca-Cola and Starbucks. Why not? You can boycott them on an individual level. Do that. It's better for you. It's better for you. Now, I don't want to give another lecture on the subject. So the last 2 questions, inshallah. So already 2:15. According to Sunnah, do we do 100% La ilaha illallah wahdahu la sharika lah in the morning only, or 100% evening too? From what I remember, it's in whoever says it in a day, and therefore it is only done once. From what I remember. A brother I know on Telegram is suffering from pornography and asked me for help, and I told him that I will direct the question. Ahlul Ilm. He says he makes tawbah but keeps falling into it. Please refer to my lecture, Addiction Affliction. Please give him the link, please. Please refer to my lecture, Addiction Affliction. Hey, barakallah feek. You feeling better today? Alhamdulillah, I'm okay. Ameen ya Rab. Even shaitan is confused. Can you elaborate on the permissibility? So many do it nowadays. No. I don't believe it's permissible to say that even shaitan is confused. These memes that the people make, that even the shaitan is confused, or the shaitan is sitting in the corner thinking, wow, this person is greater than me. All these are un-Islamic, kufri memes that Muslims shouldn't utter and engage in. There's no such thing as even shaitan is confused, or the shaitan is, is at awe at how some women, for example, plot. Like even the shaitan didn't think of that. That's all nonsense. Because it's at the end of the day, it's from the shaitan. Shayateen could be ins or jinn. Now, is there blood inside the cow, but it's not flowing? Can we drink it? Why? No. What do you mean if there's blood inside the cow? You're confusing two subjects here, Zain. You're confusing the idea of for the animal to be lawful for you to eat, the blood has to gush out from the jugular veins when you cut them, versus the impermissibility of drinking blood. It's haram in Islam to drink blood. I see a lot of popular Islamic channels like One Path Network bringing sisters in niqab to give da'wah. That goes against the purpose of hijab, right? What advice can you give them? I advise them to fear Allah and stop the nonsense. These sisters with niqabs giving da'wah as a real pandemic. I remember I was invited recently by some sister who owns a channel, and her husband is in line with her direction, and she wanted to bring me as a guest on her channel, and she's brought other famous du'at, and I had to advise the sister, tell the sister, it's not even permissible for you to be on video on YouTube. How can I be with you in front of the people? You're giggling and laughing and doing your research about the man and what he did, and even his personal life is being discussed, and jokes are being shared back and forth. Haram, all this haram. Sisters appearing on YouTube giving da'wah, even if they're wearing full-fledged niqab, is haram. It's not permissible. Men are going to check her out. They will check her out. They will check her out. Wallahi alladhi la ilaha ghayru, they will check her out. The whole idea is for women to cover themselves. All right, we're done. Is it permissible for women to slaughter animals? Yes, it is permissible for women to slaughter animals. Not exactly the most feminine thing she will do, but it's okay. Yeah, this one I want. Why don't you put this one? I'm going to post it. You assume that the Khawarij were a minority group. Think again. Think again, Habibi. The Khawarij, or people that are inclined towards Kharijis, are all over the place, man. They're all over the place. You will just like you will hardly find a Muslim sister that has not been poisoned by feminism. You will also hardly find a Muslim who has not been poisoned by the Khawarij ideology. You will hardly find a Muslim that is completely pure and clear and innocent of the Khawarij ideology. It's amazing. It's crazy. It's everywhere. A person may not be a Khariji himself, but has adopted some of the Khariji beliefs and some of the Khariji stances and some of the Khariji behaviors and some of the Khariji ideology. And some of them, a lot of them, not just a little bit, a lot of them. And they're among people that are around us. What exposes them is Palestine. Palestine is the expose of the people that have been affected by the Khawarij. You can actually test yourself. Are you following the way of the Khawarij even slightly? Check yourself according to the Palestinian conflict. You will be surprised. You will be surprised. Anyways, with that we conclude, inshallah. Jazakumullahu khairan. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.